Hey guys, and welcome back to Runic Survivor, and today we're going to be working with the Blast Aura combo, which I've been told is a pretty decent combo. So we're going to be starting with the Blast spell, going in linked to the Aura spell, and the Blast one, wherever you click, basically creates explosions, and the Aura one basically creates sort of a field around you that damages the monsters, very similar to, I guess, kind of like Garlic in Vampire Survivors. You can see it in action right here. So I was able to upgrade Blast already, and I chose the upgrade for increased area. So we're going to see how that goes. Hopefully that will turn out to be a good thing. I'm hoping that the increased area sort of paired with the Aura will work out, but the downside of the increased area is that it may be harder to get the chain off if I can't get enough kills, like if the mobs start scaling above the damage I can do. So from that perspective, it almost feels like it would have been better to go with like higher damage on my first spell, just to ensure that I can get the chain like going of combos. However, things were going pretty well here, as you can see. I was managing to get some kills, which were transferring into the chain here. So I was getting my combo off. And I would say this is more successful than a lot of my other runs. So you can see right here, just absolutely wrecking these guys while I'm trying to hold down this sigil right here. Basically able to just stand in place and hold it down, which is pretty cool. And I've got a second link as well. Honestly, I was being a little silly there. I should have just focused on one row of linking, I think. Every time I try and go for 2 rows when I'm spamming like this, it sort of ends up not really working. I seem to have more success if I'm just going to spam, just focusing on like one mouse button. I think maybe I'd have to build up mana regen to get the second one going. I had another chance for a link, but I passed it up there to try and give myself some more damage runes, which was probably fair enough because I've had a lot of runs where the damage has, like the mob HP is scaled above the damage I could do, and that caused a problem. So I thought if I just collected more damage runes, then I could sort of adapt as necessary. I guess we're going to take Aura here, and I'm like, well, we could upgrade that, so that's what we'll do. And what do we want to pick? Probably going to go with Massive Aura, just since that's sort of like the theme I already had established was like big AOE stuff. The question is, will it be enough DPS in the end game here? As you can see right here, I'm having trouble getting the combo off a little bit. And a little bit, it's just a little bit of foreshadowing, to be honest, of what ended up happening on this run. It is important to be able to do enough DPS to get your combo chain going. And that's something I often take for granted when I'm surrounded by weaker mobs. I'm like, oh, I can easily get the combo chain off, but the thing is, sometimes when you start moving away from a large group of mobs, or monsters, it becomes harder to keep that chain going. And sometimes I think the Aura is part of what's keeping it going a little bit. So sometimes when I stop, like when the combo chain stops, it can be hard to get it re-going if my DPS hasn't scaled well enough. So we're going to go with Pyromancy, which allows you to link a spell when applying burning. So you can see here, I basically get a whole extra spell chain because I can put a link on that chain as well and create a whole chain of linked spells off of that guy. Look at this. See, now this is pretty good right here. I was eating those guys up. We're going to take the ring just because I didn't like the other abilities necessarily. However, I'll be honest, this Trail of Fire thing I wasn't really sure was that good either. I didn't really notice it doing a whole lot. The one I like the most, which I haven't gotten to use that much, there's an ability you get from one of the bosses that claims it like spreads fire to other nearby monsters. That seemed kind of interesting to me. But yeah, just absolutely racking these guys up right here. This part of the run was going really well, I thought. And I was like, we're going to go for the next sigil. Why not? About time I can actually make some progress in this game. Level 24, leveling up so fast on this one. Kind of unsure what build I was going to go for, though. Sort of just picking random stuff. Not random, but like things that seemed like they fit with my build, but probably not the most optimal. Still working out pretty well. Problem was at this point, you can see the mobs are getting a lot stronger. When I have those weaker mobs, I start thinking, oh, my DPS is fine. There's no problem. But then once the tougher ones come out, sometimes you realize it's not scaling well enough. So here I picked a damage rune, and I decided to upgrade to try and get my damage going a little bit better. Figuring I needed to probably scale the DPS up more. But these guys were really closing in. I was getting really trapped here. It can be okay if you can successfully hold them off, but if you don't have the DPS and you try to just hunker down like this, you can get trapped very quickly. Luckily, a wave of the weaker monsters happened, and that allowed me to escape. And I saw this as an opportunity to try to track down the second sigil, I think. But first, we're upgrading the splitting rune. Sticking with the theme of this, probably. Or not. Went with fan split. Okay. And I think that was me thinking, yeah, maybe I don't want to deplete the DPS too much. So I was still farming pretty good at this point, but again, mostly farming on the weaker monsters. Those large skeleton ones are kind of the real issue. Like, if you reach a point where you can't farm those, you can get kind of stuck. Especially if you can't get combos off against them. So I think I should have been focusing more on chaining. Like, I had some good opportunities to chain. I was very focused on upgrading here. You can see this is the rune that I upgraded in this run. So I upgraded that blast as well. And on paper, it was going pretty well. I would say this build was working fantastically against the weaker monsters. Especially with the huge AOE, I was really collecting these guys. But now you can see the issue a little bit more. Actually, it was still going pretty well here. So I made it to the second sigil with the objective of trying to make some progress. And I found the Gnome King. However, the Gnome King... Turns out the Gnome King is actually probably the more difficult boss I've faced. Almost died right there, but I was able to save myself at the last second. Doing great damage, though. Really nice combos here that I was getting off. Really nice. But yeah, Gnome King was tough because I was backed up against this huge wave of mobs, so I couldn't dodge the ranged attacks very well. I realized with that particular monster, it's better to sit at a range and kind of just hammer it with the blast, I think. Because trying to get close to it and use aura on it is kind of tricky with its ranged attack, because you have to be pretty good at dodging it. But yeah, I was crushing this wave. But then somehow I took an unlucky hit right there, to be honest. And I got the second Guardian down. So I was like, this is going pretty well. You can see I was taking those guys out. So I decided to go for Torch of Frozen Fire. I thought that looked really good on paper. I was like, this looks great. However, something weird started happening right here, and I couldn't chain. you can see I paused because I was like, what the heck is going on? I lost my chain, and I'm totally surrounded. And just like that, it's going to be over. I mean, something about picking up the boss reward, like, it got me. Like, the chain stopped, and then I couldn't get it going again. And I think I was relying on Aura to kind of help out with the DPS, and once it stopped, I just couldn't get it going again. I don't know what happened there. Initially, I thought I must have unequipped something by accident, but no, I had the spells equipped. I lost my combo chain, so that was pretty bizarre, but, you know, a lesson to learn from, you know? So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Going to be doing some more spell chaining soon. Hopefully get some bigger chains set up, so leave a like if you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.